Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I am here with a book haul of the books that I bought on my winter 2021 visit to University of Chicago, which, by that I mean I did my shopping online, and it was inspired by a catalog that they sent to my house. And I bought a total of 15 books, and let's get right into them. The first one that I got is The Water Kingdom, A Secret History of China by Philip Ball. And Ball has engaged in some other nature-related works pertaining to physics during the Nazi regime. This one pertains to the impact that water has had throughout Chinese leadership, ranging from the Han Dynasty up until the reign of Mao Zedong. Chinese history is something that I would like to get into a little bit more, and even contemporary Chinese history, current events. I was going to take a class on the history and culture of China, but I declined to do so in favor of postmodernism. I thought the postmodernism class was pretty good, while from what I heard from a friend, the history and culture of China class was not so good. So perhaps learning a little bit more about it on my own would be the way to go. Next, I got the Modern Art Cookbook by Mariana Caws. And this is a collection of various recipes put together by various artists. There are pictures fitting the different kinds of food, painted by different artists. Doesn't necessarily mean that the recipe matches up to the work of art. For instance, we'll take Cezanne's anchovy enchilade recipe. This picture of anchovies here is not his, but Julian Marrow Smith's, and it was only painted 16 years ago. But there's also quotes and poems pertaining to the different kinds of food, which, incorporating admiration for the humanities with a love for food is always engaging. Next one is a book that my mother's probably going to get a little bit more into than myself, but this is The Kosher Baker by Paula Shoyer, and this is a collection of kosher and, in particular, dairy-free recipes for different baked goods. I was looking at the alternates, and I recognized things such as tofuti, which is something that my mother constantly refers to. She gets sour cream and cream cheese from that company. Perhaps it would make an interesting hands-on video, though. But this one looked a bit endearing. Knish, In Search of the Jewish Soul Food by Laura Silver. And this is a memoir that Silver wrote about going across the globe and looking for a recipe for her ideal Knish that she really admired. For those of you that don't know, Knish is a potato pie. But she, Mrs. Stahl's Bakery in Brooklyn was where she initially liked to go, but when they closed down, she had to go somewhere else. But this is something that would be just something to check out at some point. Next, I got Vegetables, a Biography by Evelyne Bloch-Dano, translated by Teresa, Lavender, Fagan. And this is a biography about different kinds of vegetables and then recipes that you can cook using them. This was part of a little series, but I wanted to give it a shot. This is called Tasting Spain, a Culinary Tour by H.M. Vandenbrink, translated by Ian Hodgetorn. And this is a gustatory and somewhat olfactory tour throughout throughout Spain. This pertains to various visits to cafes, markets. It's just a general culinary journey. And in addition to Vandenbrink's personal experience, he also talks about, also shares some recipes connected to these visits. Next, I got Theodore Roosevelt in the Field by Michael R. Canfield, and this is a specified biography that concentrates on Theodore Roosevelt and his love for nature, and his various adventures and expeditions into the wild. I dipped into some series that Rectian has put together, and it looks like there's a good chance it could end up becoming a bit of an addiction or something that I want to gather. First, I want to dip into them and see what I think about them. But they have an animal series that I tested out, and I got the book about Lobster by Richard J. King and Sardine by Trevor Day. Allegedly, these are experts in their designated area. Hopefully it translates well, and I am really inclined to learn more about lobster and sardine. And I sure hope that this is much more engaging and sane than Arlene Sardine, the children's book. I got another animal work called The Peregrine Returns, The Art and Architecture of an Urban Raptor Recovery, written by Mary Hennen, illustrated by Peggy Macnamara. There's a foreword by John Bates, and this has to do with the efforts to rescue and replenish the peregrine falcon population after there were issues pertaining to their endangerment, because in the mid-20th century, it looked like they were being wiped out, but they were able to get it back on the right track. Next, I got Gems and Gemstones by Lance Grande and Allison Augustyn. This looks like it's going to be a prime authority on the topics of gems and gemstones, which is something that I've always been looking to get into. I've been interested in learning more about birthstones for at least the last 19 years. On the topic of birthstones, I myself am an amethyst, and I am proud to be an amethyst. To me, it is a beautiful gem. Next, I got Ice, The Nature, the History, and the Uses of an Astonishing Substance by Mariana Gosnell. This is pretty much a nature-based biography all about ice and what we need to know about it. And it's something that I'm definitely inclined to dip into. And just as Rectian has put together an animal series, they also have an earth series pertaining to different elements of nature. There is one about rainbows by Daniel MacCannell, and one about clouds by Richard Hamblyn. With regard to clouds, I'm surprised that they didn't tap Gavin Preter Pinney, who was the founder of the Cloud Appreciation Society, which got notice in the Best American series. But he did leave a comment of praise that said, and I quote, "Hamblyn is a master of clouds. This is a treasure trove of information and inspiration for sky lovers." Hamblyn is going to have a pretty big mark to be able to accomplish, because Preter Pinney is quite the authority as far as everything pertaining to clouds is concerned. And finally, I picked up something that I almost feel that I need to get into, and that is The Selfish Ape, Human Nature and Our Path to Extinction by Nicholas P. Money. And this is an account pertaining to an exploration on humanity. I do have that, there's that sense that humans have that sense of self-definity, and the fact that they could very well drive themselves into extinction. There's a good chance that it is on the path to inevitability, but there's always that sense that they can engage in actions and choices that prevent that from happening. But Money has also written about mushrooms and yeast. So it's interesting that he jumps into topics on humanity. He goes from fungus to humans, but in a way, we could be deemed a walking fungus for other species and for nature. But those are the 15 books that I acquired in this year's University of Chicago book sale. It was definitely something worth dipping into, and I don't know if my wallet agrees with me. I don't know if my credit card's going to agree with me, but these are books that are part of my collection. Perhaps I can incorporate them into the channel, be it an individual review or a group discussion. Thank you, and for now, keep reading.